everybody. We are up to episode 6 of FemGineer Chats, and I'm just really excited. It's my first guest on the show, and I'd love to introduce you all to Miree Hancock. The lovely Miree is a founder of 2 sister businesses. One is Green Earth Kids and the other is Green Earth Consulting. And so she has a huge passion for protecting our planet and a deep love for nature and animals. And she's on a mission to educate families who are on their journey towards living more sustainably with children. And so, having had over 10 years of experience in childcare, she's obtained a bachelor in sustainability and development. And so she has a really great style and a vibrant and informative way of delivering her content. And so I'm really excited to have her on for the show today to talk about how to raise kids in a more sustainable manner. So I will take it over to Miree. I'd love to hear a bit more about you, Miree, and tell us why you're so passionate about sustainable living and protecting our beautiful environment.
Thank you so much, Meryl. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be on here on FemGineer Chats. It's awesome. But yeah, I don't even know where my passion came from. I don't know when it began. You know how sometimes people can give you a pinpoint moment where they just went, and this happened, and then I became, an advocate, or I became whatever. I think for me, as a child, I always loved animals. I loved animals, and I loved nature, and I really couldn't stand injustice. And so I think that those two sort of opposite things happened. And as I grew up and learnt about, what's happening in the world and got through my selfish 20s that a lot of people go through, where everything's just about going out, having fun, what can I buy, how good can I look, and all of that stuff. And then I started learning about what sustainability actually was and how human actions are shaping this planet. And we can either shape them in a positive or negative way. And I started learning that actually we're mostly shaping it in a negative way. And so for me, I think that's when I started realizing that, well, it doesn't have to be this way. We can actually live in a different way. We can still not miss out on things. We can still eat chocolate. We can still, have fun and live in the 21st century, but also do it in a way that doesn't hurt the planet. And so for me, that was like kind of a light bulb. And I just thought, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing. And so when did you sort of branch off into the second business? So your first business was Green Earth Kids, is that right?
Yeah. So Green Earth Kids started, and it started with a crazy idea of doing a television show, a kids television show, because I was a nanny. And I realized that there was nothing really positive on TV about the environment. The closest was, I guess, Dirt Girl, which is a great show, but that's kind of a preschool show. And then there was something like when we were kids, there was a Captain Planet, and he talked about recycling and littering and stuff.
Yeah. Nothing since,
Nothing. Since. And so I sort of really thought, this is a cool thing to do. So assembled this amazing group of people, actors, camera crew and costume people. And we filmed the first episode. And it's taken a really long time because we've had to battle illnesses, we've had to battle lockdowns, we've had to battle the elements because a lot of it was filmed outside. So anyway, all of that was happening. And so this first episode of the show is just about finished in post-production. And
amazing.
That led me on to, through COVID, I decided to do some product. So we branched out into our online store. And I really wanted to keep the sustainability thing like front of mind. So there's no plastic, there's no toxic chemicals, everything's made in Australia. And then through that, I decided to finish uni, and I decided, well, I think that I can teach other people, especially in the child space, so childcare centres, families with children. I think I can teach them just what I know. Like, I'm not saying I'm like the world's expert on sustainable parenting, but I can teach them what I know, and it's going to help them make, a positive impact in their family or in their childcare centre. And that kind of grew that way. So that was last year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess then in relation to that, so what are you seeing as kind of the main areas relating to when raising a child? What are the main areas that are causing waste or basically unsustainable living in households, in Australian households?
Yeah. I think I think there's 3 key areas. 2 of them are
Mhm.
probably more obvious and one is less obvious but just as bad. And this is why I usually include these 3 into, seminars that I teach. But it would have to
Yeah.
be food, so food waste
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hygiene, so mostly
Mhm.
related, I guess, to nappies, but
Okay.
also wipes because I've really found that a lot of families will keep using disposable wipes even when their kids are out of nappies. They've got a pack in the car, a pack in the
Sure.
pram, you know.
Yeah.
So food, hygiene, and the sneaky one is entertainment. So actually keeping
Okay.
the kids entertained, whether it be
Right.
toys, whether it be craft supplies, whether it be
Yeah.
outings. And so I think those 3 areas are probably key areas
Mhm.
where parents are probably creating a lot more waste and living unsustainably, and maybe
Yeah.
than they realize. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I think, yeah, entertainment is definitely a sneaky one in there. I know myself, so when I buy gifts for people, I usually try to, if they're an adult, I try to give them experience vouchers, and also
Yeah.
for kind of older children, I love to give experience vouchers.
Me
And
too.
if I can be bothered, make like a full like food or edible hamper. But it's a tough one, entertainment, because these are little kids, these sorts of things I mentioned are not going to be useful for them.
Yeah.
So how do you entertain children sustainably? That's
Yeah.
an interesting one. I like that.
Exactly. And, people are coming
Um,
up with such great ideas and, you
yeah,
look at Instagram or Pinterest and whatever, but,
yeah,
at least I would say 50, 60, 70% of those are quite wasteful. Like they involve sticky tape
mhm,
or they involve glitter or they involve, stuff that's just not
yeah,
really great for the environment. So we just got to think
yeah.
outside the box. Mm,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think it's difficult though because it's so easy to jump over to the shops. I think that happened especially in kind of the peak of lockdown last year,
Yeah.
and they were encouraging people to go out and just buy
Yeah.
entertainment
Yeah.
in the form of toys and puzzles and whatever else, DVD packs, whatever it was that you personally enjoyed or your children might enjoy. So it's very natural to kind of encourage the
Yeah.
easy option, like go and buy whatever it is. So how do
Totally.
you get over that hurdle? Like, what do you tell people to do? So what are some of the suggestions that you might have, like,
Yeah.
in terms of
Look,
entertainment? Yeah.
lockdown is a great example, and I think retail just skyrocketed during
Mhm.
that time, and I suppose it's continuing in places that's still a lockdown,
Mhm.
and particularly online sales as well. So there's a couple of things I would suggest. One is if you're buying a lot of stuff online,
Mhm.
or even in a physical retail outlet, support businesses who are trying to do the right thing environmentally. So
Sure.
shop places where they're not going to wrap everything in plastic or bubble wrap when they mail it to you or
Mhm.
plastic mailers.
Mhm.
There are a lot of brands out there and especially small Australian companies who are trying to do the right thing. They're using
Mhm.
compostable packaging. They're avoiding all of that plastic stuff. So I would do
Yeah.
that. And then the other thing I super, super highly recommend, which is it sounds ridiculous because it's such a traditional, old fashioned way of doing things.
Yeah.
Um, Share with other people. Like you don't
Yeah,
have
that's a
to
good
buy
one.
everything new. I know
Yeah.
that's a revelation, but you don't. like
Yeah.
there's toy libraries, there's book libraries, there's tool libraries. Like, and then if you
Yeah.
don't want to go to join one of those co-op type things, just share with your friends. My
Yeah.
kids are still playing with their toys, well, so are mine. So let's swap our toys for a week, and then
Yeah.
for them, you've got a whole new world of entertainment, and it's cost you
Yeah.
nothing, and it's cost the planet nothing. Yeah,
Yeah, I think, like Facebook Marketplace, for example, that's like a really well-known way that people have, managed to probably subconsciously, feed into a more sustainable way of
yeah,
purchasing things. I mean,
yeah,
yes, sometimes people are like, "Oh, I bought a second item accidentally, so here it is, brand new practically,
yeah,
but for half the price." That's always a bit of a win, but also, yeah, overall, like, you're getting, like, items that are really going through another life cycle and
yes.
hopefully more after that. So, yeah, Facebook's really done well with that.
Absolutely.
It's
Facebook,
Yeah.
I've bought, for our fostering, we've bought a lot of stuff off Facebook Marketplace, and Op
Okay.
Shops is another good one.
Yeah.
So for us in our household, if we are going to buy plastic toys,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
always secondhand for that
Mhm.
reason. It's giving something another life. It's stopping it from going to landfill. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess it is hard, I mean, we live in a very consumer focused
Mm.
lifestyle, especially in countries like Australia, Canada, kind of the big five, UK,
Yeah.
Europe, like different parts of Europe. So it's definitely difficult to shift away from that kind of standard way of living. And it's probably a pretty big question, but maybe in terms of children and I guess it goes back to the entertainment and gift giving and all of those things that you buy for children for them to enjoy. How do you shift away from that lifestyle? How do you have those conversations with, I think,
Yeah.
children more importantly, because adults can understand that. I don't need this,
Some.
but I want this. Yeah. There's a difference between that need and the want. So how do you help children understand that?
Yeah. Look, I think it can be tricky, but I think it depends on what the kinds of values that you're instilling in them already. So I think my perception of it, or my kind of angle on it, is it's it's kind of it's hard to explain. There's lots of facets to it, but it is a mindset.
Mm,
You don't want to just be
mhm.
talking about this one toy, or you don't need that toy, you've got a lot of toys. That's not going to
Yeah.
do anything for a kid.
No.
But it's
Yeah.
it's instilling the values into them that, the planet does have limited resources, and that we
Yeah.
need to be grateful for everything that we
Mm,
have. So gratitude
mhm.
is a huge one, I think, for kids, because they do understand that.
Gratitude, yeah. Yeah.
Particularly when they've learned, that things have been taken away from them, and then when they get it back, they do feel that
Yeah.
sense of gratitude. So I think
Yeah.
instilling values like gratitude in them, simplifying their life as well.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
okay for kids to be bored once in a while, because
Yeah.
that's what inspires
Yeah.
imagination. That's what
Yeah.
inspires creativity. So they don't
Yeah.
have to be kept busy every second of every day.
Mhm.
Bringing back, nature play, like going
Mhm.
outside, go
Nature
for
play, yeah, I
walks.
love
What
that.
can you hear? What can you see? What can you
Yeah.
find? And
Yeah.
engaging all of the senses.
Yeah.
But I think just, and even with parties, I think
Mhm.
sadly, that's another part of our consumeristic lifestyle. But sadly,
Yeah.
kids' parties have just gotten bigger and bigger. Like
Mhm.
every year, they're becoming crazy. They have to be Insta worthy, and they have to be like, I need a balloon arch, and I need a jumping castle. And it's like, we're not all the Kardashians. We don't actually need that stuff. Everyone calm down. But looking at, like simplifying, like you said, give
Mhm.
experiences. Have a kid's birthday party where you
Yep.
actually don't give presents. Like, tell people to not give presents.
Right,
Explain
yeah.
it to the kid.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
the reason we have a party for our birthday is to celebrate
Right.
you, is to
Yeah,
spend time with your friends and to eat fun food. It's not
for
about the
sure.
gifts, and it doesn't have to be about the gifts or the material
Absolutely.
objects. Yeah.
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 Absolutely. Well, that's really cool. I think to kind of expand on that, and
Mm.
what are some of the things that parents could do to be more sustainable that won't really cost them much, because cost is always a big thing.
Yeah.
And people will often say, well, when I need to buy organic or naturally made or eco-friendly, I have to always
Yeah.
spend one and a half times more. So, what are some of the simple things they can do to be more sustainable?
Yeah, gosh, there's so many. But if I sort
Mhm.
of touch on things that we're discussing already here,
Yeah.
I would say looking at some of the swaps that you can make in your normal shopping. So
Sure.
things like, if you buy a packet of wipes, they might cost you $3, $5, $7, depending on the brand. But if
Mhm.
you use face washes and you wet them, it's the same and they're
Same
free.
thing. Yeah.
And if you don't want to buy a whole bunch of face washes, or you don't have them,
Yeah.
make some out of like old pajamas, like old flannel pajamas that have got holes in them. Chop them up,
Yeah.
old t-shirts, chop them up, and use those to wipe kids' hands when they've had a sticky snack or something like that. That's
Yeah.
actually going to save you money, not even be
Mm.
equivalent. It's going to save you money.
Yeah.
I also remind people to teach your kids and your adults, switch
Mm.
them off when you finish using them. When you
Yeah.
leave the
Probably
room,
a big
switch
one.
off the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've made a cup of tea, switch off the kettle, like at the
Yeah.
switch, because
Yeah.
standby still is sucking out energy,
Yeah.
and you're
For
paying for
sure.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
that's always good. If you tell people you're paying for it, then
You're
they're like,
paying
"Oh,
for
okay,
it.
well, maybe
Switch
I
it
should
off.
turn this off."
Exactly. And probably my
Yeah.
last one that I really love this one because it's so overlooked. When you go
Mm.
to markets, and a
Yeah.
lot of people complain, oh, but farmers markets or whatever, sometimes they're more expensive. Depending on
Yeah.
what you buy, they're not more
Yeah.
expensive. But
Yeah.
something that I love to buy at markets, and I always do, is Australian made soap, like bars of soap.
Yeah.
They are
Okay.
zero
Love that.
waste. They're not
Yeah.
wrapped in
Yeah, they
plastic.
just they're just the bar, right?
They're just a
Yeah.
bar. They're just a bar, and
Yeah.
they're made in Australia, and they are
Love
cheaper
that
than buying them from the supermarket. So
for sure.
go to one farmer's market a year, buy 30 bars, bam,
Yeah.
done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And also though they can be used like if they're melted down again, they can be used for other things, right? Like hand wash and things like that. There are
Yeah,
some of them you can
yeah,
reuse in
some of them
other
you can,
ways.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And there's some
Mm.
great brands that you can buy online, Australian
Yeah.
and from overseas. And
Yeah.
they make solid minis of things. So yeah, you can either add
Mm.
hot water to them, or you can use those bars like shampoo, conditioner. And again,
Yeah.
zero waste, doesn't cost any more. It's just a
Yeah.
different way of shopping. Yeah.
Yeah. So before I kind of go into your business a little bit more, I just want you to tell us what's a sustainability secret that you can share with us that's
Oh, there
related
are.
to adults and kids, or just one or the other.
Yes. Well, okay. So the one that I know that a lot of people don't know about, which is really exciting because it has such a huge impact if everybody did
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
is who is your superannuation with?
Oh
Sounds
yeah.
boring, sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous, but you go into some of those really big companies that everybody
Yeah.
knows about, the super companies,
Mhm.
or you just you go to a new job and they put you in their default fund.
Yeah.
What people don't know is that a lot of those big major ones are investing your money into
Mhm.
really unsustainable things.
For
And
sure.
what people are shocked to find out is it's not just big businesses or big banks or whatever. It's
Mhm.
fossil fuel. It's a
Yeah.
lot of unethical mining. It's
Mhm.
weapons. Like some of them
Yeah.
literally are
Yeah.
investing in weapons with your money, and you have no
Yeah.
idea.
No.
So I just would recommend people to switch to an ethical fund. So there's quite a
Yeah, it's
few
a really
now
good
that are
one.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's Australian Christian Super, there's Australian
Okay.
Ethical Super, and
Yeah.
there's probably about two or three more. But you can just do an internet search and find
Yeah.
one and switch your
Yeah.
money and make it, work in a way that's going to help with
Yeah.
renewables or help with, education or things that
Mm.
are going to help the world. Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's really important to kind of recognize that it's not just, okay, renewables is the only way to be
No.
sustainable, for
No.
example, or really or those very obvious things, that it's so much more to it. Like there's that
Yeah.
social aspect,
Yeah.
that human aspect about relationships, and then
Yeah.
actually valuing the natural capital that we have as well. And so there's just so many elements to sustainability. And obviously if these funds or these financial institutions are supporting these conscious projects or these conscious businesses or initiatives, then yeah, we're all kind of shifting towards, and our money is working for us in a
Yeah.
sustainable way. So not just the way we consciously spend our money, but
Absolutely.
subconsciously spend it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it can be banking as well. I mean, if people like
Mm,
Indigo Bank give like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to local community
yeah,
groups and initiatives. So just look
yeah,
at like when you're sleeping, your money is still working and you're
yeah,
paying with it. So
yeah,
where is your money working? Is it doing good or is it doing evil?
yeah.
Like
Is
let's
it
look
doing?
at the
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Look, it's been super informative. I've loved hearing about what you do. Well, at the very least about your ideas and how to
Yeah.
help parents. But I'd love to actually know a little bit more about your business. So tell us about Green Earth Kids and Green Earth Consulting, and what you focus on overall as the two businesses.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think for me, obviously, sustainability is the core foundation across both of
Mhm.
those. And
Mhm.
I like to live with helping people to be, and myself being, like a good steward of creation, like a good
Yeah.
steward of what we have here on this planet, and how
Yeah.
can we keep looking after it. So with Green Earth Kids, obviously, it's education, but it's also fun,
Mhm.
it's entertainment. So
Yeah.
as I mentioned at the start, all of our play resources are made in Australia, every single one. I don't import anything. And
Wonderful.
yeah, we support really small manufacturers and some bigger
That's great.
manufacturers. A lot of them are like family-owned businesses that make their own
Yeah.
product in their own, garage or their own workshop, which I
Yeah.
love. And with the consulting, it's super exciting. I'm so passionate
Mm.
about it. I love, as you can tell, talking. Um, so I love going into whether it's a workplace, whether
Mhm.
it's a private home, or whether
Yeah.
at the moment I've been doing a lot of childcare centres,
Okay.
and just love getting people excited. Like, what can we
Yeah.
do? How can we expand your recycling program? How can we expand your gardening program? Like, how can I
Yeah.
help you to make a few little tweaks to the way you're running your business day to day
Yeah.
that is going to save a money, and b carbon footprint, like reducing your carbon footprint. So
Yeah, for
that's what I
sure.
love doing. And and I think I've got a very, conversational style. So if people
Mhm.
are scared sometimes of maybe getting a consultant to come in because it sounds so scary, you probably
Yeah.
get that, "Oh, you're a consultant, or they're going to do it all."
Yeah.
It's very scary. But for me, it's like, no, it's not scary. We're just going to have
Yeah.
a chat, and you're going to show
Yeah.
me around, and we'll open your cupboards and we'll look at what you're doing. And it's
Yeah.
really, face to face, community
Yeah.
level, conversational style that
Yeah.
I bring to the chat.
Oh, it's good. Very
Yeah,
interactive, very engaging. I love that.
yeah, yes,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
wonderful. So how can people reach you, Marie? What's the best way for people to reach out?
Yes. So I've just realised there's a typo there on my name, which I did, but that's okay. It's double E, Miree. So I'm on all the platforms. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. But basically, if you go to my website, that is the easiest way
Mhm.
to contact me, because that'll have my email and all of our
Okay,
social links there. So it's
awesome.
greenearthkids.com. That's it.
Okay. Well, then I might, post it in the comments here as well.
Yeah, totally.
There we
And I'd
go,
love to
green
chat with people. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to come and
yeah,
do some work for you.
yeah.
Or even if people just, have questions, just DM me and I'll answer your questions, no problem.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's wonderful. Oh, that's really good. It's been so wonderful to have you on and hear more about your business and how you can help, not just adults, but also
Mm,
their children and their upbringing and their lifestyle changes
mm,
that they can make towards a more sustainable future. So that's awesome
yeah.
stuff.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been great. So really happy to have your resources on here, and hopefully people can connect. The website is in the comments. So yeah, please reach out to Marie if you have any questions. And everybody have a lovely evening. And thank you again, Marie. And we will stay in touch, I'm sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so
Take
much for
care.
having me, and thanks everybody for listening. So keep supporting FemGineer Chats, because like Meryl does
Yeah.
cool stuff every week. So get on it.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks.
it.
No
All
worries.
right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.